Hey, it's Squidly. I was tagged by Unlikely Hiker to share my gear philosophy. If you haven't seen Unlikely Hiker, when you're through with this video, you need to go check her out. And when I say through with this video, I mean after you hit like and you subscribe and you hit the bell notification, you get the idea. So in this video, I'm going to share my gear philosophy, and I'm going to approach this from two different directions. One is, how do I select gear to purchase? And two, how do I select gear when I get ready to go on a trip? When getting ready to buy gear, there are three features really that you're looking at. It can be cheap, it can be lightweight, and it can be durable, but you're really not going to find all three. It can be cheap and durable, but it won't be lightweight. It can be cheap and lightweight, but it won't be durable. And it can be lightweight and durable, but it won't be cheap. Now, of these three options, how do I choose which two that I'm going to fulfill, and what's the one that I'm going to have to kind of leave out? Well, the short answer to that is I almost always choose lightweight. Now, that means I can get lightweight and cheap, but it won't be durable, or I can get lightweight and durable, but it won't be cheap. Now, how do I go about figuring out which one of those two things I leave out? The lightweight and durable, but not cheap, these are the pieces of gear that are critical. They're the ones that are most critical to making sure that a trip is not just memorable, but doesn't end in some kind of catastrophic failure. I need durability in addition to the lightweight. And so these are going to be critical pieces of gear. And everybody could, I guess, could argue and be correct about what the critical pieces of gear are. In my mind, these are the pieces of gear that cannot fail. That if they fail, it essentially ruins the trip. The lightweight and cheap, but not durable, these are the pieces that if I take them and they fail because they're not durable, then they haven't ruined the trip. I can just have a piece of gear that failed, but continue on with the rest of the trip and it not really be a problem. And then there's another category that for the purpose of this, I'm going to call them unicorns, because they really shouldn't exist. But these are pieces of gear that sort of approach all three. And the only way they approach all three, being cheap, lightweight, and durable, is by kind of splitting the difference between two of those. And so you don't really fully achieve all three of them, but you come pretty close. I should probably at some point do a video on what those pieces of gear are. Okay, the second part of my gear philosophy involves how I choose the gear for a particular trip from this pile of gear. The first part of it to consider is the destination. And there are really three things with the destination that I have to consider when it comes to choosing from this pile of stuff. The first one is climate. What is the general pattern of highs and lows and precipitation, so I know how much water that I can anticipate will be available, and also what temperature range so that I can pick the right stuff from this pile. The next thing is the weather. Now, that's different from climate. Climate is sort of an average and kind of a general thing over time. Weather is specific for day to day, and the closer we get to the trip, I'll be watching the weather and kind of get a feel for what the highs and lows are going to look like. The same things, what the range of temperatures will be, and what kind of precipitation I can anticipate while we're out. The third thing with the destination is the elevation gain and loss. If I'm going to a place that is pretty flat, then it means that my gear choices are going to be potentially different than if I have a lot of elevation gain and loss, because with a lot of elevation gain and loss, you're probably going to want a lower base weight. While on a flat trail, having a little more comfort and carrying some more stuff, a little bit more weight, would not be a problem at all. When it comes to choosing the trip gear, the second thing to consider here is the actual trip plan. Now, as I say that, there are a couple of things here to consider. First of all, am I going with other people, and is there shared gear? Because if there is shared gear and there are pieces that I'm not having to carry, it opens up a little bit of room for me to carry some more comfort items and still keep my base weight pretty low. Also with the trip plan, what is the mileage we're hoping to do? That is to say, for the trip, what day are we going to have the highest number of miles, and how many miles will that be? And is that on a day with a lot of the elevation gain and loss? That's going to be something really critical to consider as I start pulling from this pile of stuff to put in my backpack and decide, okay, I'm going and this is how I'm going to do it. All right, that's my philosophy on gear, and I hope that in the hiking community maybe I've added a little something to it, or at least given you a little bit of food for thought. What I'd like for you to do is tell me in the comments what parts of it I got right and what parts of it you disagree with. And if you disagree, that's okay, but don't come at me, bro. And as always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe on the way out.